Welcome to Sandstoneherald, and today we are picking up on where we have been on Jeremiah. As we go through the book of Jeremiah, we want to cover Jeremiah 44 and 45 today. Now, Jeremiah chapter 44 is a very interesting read. And why is it very interesting? Because Jeremiah begins to engage as he prophesies to the people who are in Egypt. Remember that they had come from Judah and they ran away to Egypt. And the Lord had told them not to leave, but they decided to go. So when they are here, Jeremiah comes in and tells them that, by the way, the Lord is going to destroy you people because he warned you not to come, but you came. And the Lord tells them, listen, you are not going to survive. In fact, very few people will leave this place, and this will be the sign. I'm going to hand over Pharaoh to Nebuchadnezzar, the man who really wanted him, the king of Babylon who wanted to destroy him. But they think he is kidding. And actually, he begins to explain to them something very serious, which they'd done. They said, you people had walked away from God. You'd done your own things against God. So God is going to punish you. Okay? But they won't listen. In fact, they go further to even tell him, listen, we are very fine. We are very, very fine. In fact, the things you're telling us not to do are the things we are going to do. You told us not to worship idols. We are going to worship idols. In fact, we are going to offer sacrifice to the Queen of Heaven. Now, this is the first time in the book of Jeremiah that we actually find an idol that is called the Queen of Heaven. So we're going to offer our sacrifices to Queen of Heaven. In fact, we're going to pour our wine and we're going to celebrate him. And we're going to bake cakes, because when we baked cake, he said, in fact, they tell Jeremiah that when they used to bake cake in Judah, they used to, their lives were great. They had all the good things that seems to be life, that they needed wherever they were. But you know what? This is very interesting. That they said that their life was better when they worshipped idols, and their husbands took care of them. That is the women speaking. Their husbands took care of them, and they had a lot of food to eat, and everything seemed to be fine. And so they tell Jeremiah to his face, we will not worship your God. We will not listen to you. We will not listen to anything you tell us, because we don't trust the God that you tell us to worship. Then Jeremiah tells them then they don't need to offer any more sacrifices to the gods of the Egyptians and the ones that of the land that they had been living in Canaan. And this is dangerous because a lot of people behave exactly like that today. So God gives them a promise that he is going to punish them. And as he punishes them, nobody will ever return. Nobody will go back to Judah. In fact, he says only fugitives, a few fugitives will disappear from Egypt and go back to Judah. There will be people who are running because they are criminals. Nobody will survive. Even the remnant will be so few. And God is warning them and saying, please listen to me, because if you take my path, you will be fine. And then chapter 45, he gives an example of how if you remain faithful, God will come through for you. And so God gives a prophecy to Baruch. Now, Baruch was the scribe, the man who used to write the prophecies as they were written, as they were given to Jeremiah. So the Lord tells Baruch that, Baruch, I will spare you. I know you had thought that your time is over, that you're also going to die, but there's something special in store for you. I will destroy everything I had planted, every good thing I had done in the promised land, in the land. I will make sure that I destroy. So he tells him, don't invest in any property. Don't buy property. Don't buy land. Don't buy anything, because I'm going to destroy everything. But I will spare you. I will spare you. You will escape with your life. You will live your life to the full. You will be complete. Nothing will be destroyed out of you. Now, that tells you something about God, that the God we serve is a God who is able to take care of us in the midst of the thickness of things. Like this period of Corona, when many people are struggling with the pain of it. Some people are not even so sure it exists, but there are people who have died because of Corona. There are people who have suffered desperately because of Corona. So God is saying, in the midst of this, if you remain faithful, I will still walk with you. We are not saying Corona was a curse because of something that people had done. But one thing we are saying is that God will still be able to hold your hand, through that trying. There are people who've lost their jobs, there are people who've lost relatives, there are people who are on half salary, there are people with nothing they can be able to be proud of today. But God is saying, I will walk with you if you give me a trust. So as we conclude, I want you to remember these three things that are important. That there is hope even when things don't look very good. We can trust the God we serve because He's a God who promises He will never leave us nor forsake us. That is important, and we can see that in the testimony that Baruch is given. Number two, that God will always remain faithful and is looking for people who will remain faithful. And so God is counting on you to remain faithful, because when you do, He will be faithful to you too. And then number three is never give up on God. It doesn't matter how bleak or bad things look. And I know that from my own personal experience, that times come when things don't look very nice. They look bleak, they don't look good, they really look bad. But God will remain faithful. So don't you ever give up on God. The more you hang on to Him, the more He will prove Himself faithful and true. And we can learn that from Jeremiah. And so I wish you a lovely evening, a lovely day, a lovely moment, whichever part of this world you're watching. May God bless you and have a lovely, lovely day. God bless.